Bonjour, I am Sandrine. Together, we will learn about the infinite quantum and galactic realms so we can embody more of our multidimensionality and accelerate our ascension.
Hello, my name is Sandrine. I am the founder of Fractal Alchemy 5D Quantum University, Ascension and Mission Mentor, and also a trance channel. I am so happy to be able to facilitate this session and this transmission for you today because it is going to be potent. If you like this video, if you listen to this podcast, I would love it if afterwards you could follow me, share it with your friends, as the message here is very important to help humanity reach a unified field of consciousness. This transmission is most likely going to make you uncomfortable in many ways. I would love to invite you to welcome this discomfort as a beautiful, potent pathway of evolution, as every time we simply reside in our curiosity, into accepting that we are indeed experiencing discomfort because some of our belief systems are being challenged, because the frequencies of the message are of a different frequency that we are used to hear. Every time we place ourselves there, it already activates evolution. It already activates shift within the self. And of course, you can very much decide if you agree or disagree with this message, if you relate to it, if you align to it. Of course, please always resign in your full sovereignty as you listen to my transmission and as to all transmission, to all messages that are coming in your field, by the way. Because this transmission is here for this purpose. It is to encourage you to resign more in your sovereignty. I observe, as well as you do, my friend, so many distortion and separation happening in the world now. I have received the information that I am about to share with you for a very long time, only that information was creating a lot of discomfort in my own self. My human had to heal and alchemize many outdated paradigms, many belief systems, many fears to be able to clearly channel this message with such high level of purity that the inner truth would make my whole being resonate at the highest, and that therefore it collapsed timelines and removed outdated paradigms that were still present because of the purity of this unified field of consciousness carried in this message. It is acting literally as cosmic surgery into your brain. So here we are. Today I am going to share with you about the greater architecture of the matrix systems and how we identify with this matrix system at the moment through beliefs around the COVID-19 situations and other situations arising in our field. I hear often the narrative of, oh, we are going to destroy the matrix. Let's remove ourselves from the matrix. Let's dismantle the matrix. Let's dissolve the matrix. And I understand what people say, but at the same time, these concepts are not really anchored into understanding of what actually the matrix is. Because if we were to basically remove ourselves from the matrix, it means that we would simply die. We would leave this earth. Because the matrix is basically the architecture of reality of this planet. And at the moment, we are experiencing 3D, third-dimensional physicality. So when we are in this degree of physicality, the 3D matrix system is the dominant one. Then we have other matrix system of fourth dimension and fifth dimension and so on. But basically, matrix systems are everywhere through all realms of realities and star systems. It's simply that they vibrate at different frequencies. So it is, I would like to invite you to refine a little bit here the way you express that, because I know what you mean, because I also wanted to kind of escape the matrix and dissolve the matrix until I actually understood more deeply what it is really about. The matrix is literally an architecture offered to us so we can play with it. There are many metaphors that come into mind to be able to bring a little bit more precision into this. So we could, for example, see it as a board game. You have the actual board game, like it could be like Monopoly, for example. Monopoly, I love playing Monopoly with my kids and I always lose. Doesn't say anything about my abundance though. But anyway, This monopoly board is actually, the board in itself could be seen as the matrix. And we are the players. And the players, we are being given certain cards. We have all of these different places that we can buy. And basically, like, each player can choose to play differently. Some players will have better luck with dice than others, and it will make others pissed off at how this one seems to be so lucky and why am I not? Or this one seems to be dealing better with their cards, and so on. So we can see that already, like, the matrix is like all players that come to play in the game have very different experiences of the games. Like, sometimes, like, it's the best experience, we are the richest, we have all the houses and we nail it. And then other times we just spend our time in prison and we can never buy anything and we get broke very quickly, and therefore it creates our experience. So the matrix is very much like this board game, like this monopoly board. We could also see this as simply like a building, literally like an architecture. Let's say, for example, that I put a huge cathedral, okay? A huge cathedral just right there in front of your eyes. The thing is, to start with, it is just basically bricks. It's just bricks and windows, and that's all. You are going to say that it is a cathedral, that it's like the Catholic build it, and then you're going to have a narrative coming from that simply because you have learned that. Simply because it was taught to you. If I was to show a cathedral to, like, children that were never exposed to it, they'd just simply see, like, oh, that's such a beautiful building, because as a matter of fact, they are beautiful. So all temples from all religions, they are all equally beautiful. It's simply that we understand, we place certain meanings and belief systems because we have been taught that, because of our belief system, because of our inner microcosm of our interpretation of what this building is and what it means. The matrix is very much that. It's this architecture that is simply presented to us, and it's completely neutral, because if you listen to this, chances are that, like me, you believe in a higher power that you can call God or source or supreme consciousness. And you know that this divine source of consciousness is ever present. You know that you and I, my friends, we are indeed projections. We are fractal of that divine consciousness, okay? We know that this divine consciousness, the universe, always has our back. So, of course, the matrix is also the same thing. It is simply an architecture presented by divinity, by divine source consciousness. It is kind of like, okay, now you are choosing to live in a physical life on Earth. This is the matrix system that exists there. Have fun, my child, have fun, and see how you play the game. And it is literally that. And then we start entering this game, and then we start playing differently with this game. So the matrix system has its own intelligence that comes from a deeper, higher frequency algorithm that is a little bit more complicated to explain. It's of like different kind of channel content, but it's basically like an algorithm that answers to the unity fractal consciousness of the entire humanity. So it means that entire humanity is vibrating at certain level of frequencies, and this certain level of frequencies, they basically command the matrix system to adjust. So it is coming from that. The matrix system adjusts to us and not the other way, which is already a very different way to see things, as people think they are being controlled by the matrix, when actually it's the opposite. It's all of us here, every one of us, we together as a unified field of consciousness, we project that matrix. The distortion comes from when we don't have this awareness, and therefore we don't reside in our sovereign creator, creatress powers. Because if you listen to this, you also know, my friend, that you are a powerful creator or creatress. You are, because you are, that simply is. You are God in physicality. You are a goddess in physicality. So also remember to reclaim your power, reclaim your sovereignty by not falling into the trap of low frequency of victimization, of being a victim of the matrix, when actually the matrix is just an architecture. It is just a game. When we understand this, we can see that instead of wanting to dissolve and destroy the matrix, which by the way is aggression, nothing of high frequency is birthed from aggressive frequency. Aggressive frequency reside in the lowest fractal spectrum of frequency. I don't need to describe then how toxic aggression is. So when we want to fight the matrix, we are residing in the lower fractal of the self. We are not residing in a sovereign presence of trust, of faith, of inner power, of confidence, of love. We don't reside fully anchored in the 4 primal codes that I continuously talk about, which is love, connection, abundance, and freedom. When we want to fight the matrix, we end up being like really depleted of energy, and we enter this eternal loop of separation. We are separated from ourselves and we are separated from others. We are fighting an invisible force, and we are going to start to give meaning to a lot of scenarios unfolding around us that will basically be the proof that we are right. And here we're going to start entering into the different narratives that are present in the collective at the moment. But first, I would like to remind you that the matrix is simply an architecture. When we can see that, we reclaim our powers as literally architects of our own lives, and we can see, well, I'm just going to play the game to the best of my abilities. What does that mean? I'm going to have honor. I'm going to have integrity. I'm going to always catch myself every time there is a little bit of aggression in my field, a bit of judgment, impatience, a bit of like, I'm right, you're wrong. Wait and see. You'll see that lie, like that story will prove me right in the long term. You'll see I'm right. Wait and see, wait and see. I detain the truth. Every time you catch yourself going into aggressive narrative, just be aware of that. It's like, oh, okay, my human slipped into aggression mode. I'm just going to go back into my beautiful, magnificent self, which reside in trust and love always. Okay, what is this architecture? How is this architecture here to serve me? Because everything is a gift. The universe always has our back. So is the matrix. The matrix is a gift offered to us. The matrix is a response to the awakening of consciousness happening in humanity. And therefore, the matrix is shifting in a way that is going to allow humans to experiment all the desires that I have placed in their heart, to have more love, more freedom, more connection, more abundance, more peace, greater health for all, better environment. So many of us are vibrating these frequencies now that the matrix system is simply expanding its structure. I'm going to show you very soon what it looks like. It's like it's expanding its structure to simply allow us to experiment this heart desire that we have placed. And because so many of us have now conscious awareness of this heart desire that we place in our vortex, literally we create this super conscious structure of matrix shifting. So here it is. Amazing drawing skills coming, red alert. So ta-da! Little white bond coming back. So at the center, we have this dark void, which is actually the earth. So here we have the earth, and around that is a representation of the matrix. And here we can see that the matrix is very close to earth. We could say that this matrix system was, let's say, for example, a couple of 100 years ago. A couple of 100 years ago, the matrix system was there. And now we have a matrix system that is broader, larger. And we are evolving into having yet another layer. Basically, it's like we are shifting out of density to move into higher frequency of matrix system until eventually we're going to reach like the tipping point of fractal reflection residing within the superconscious field of all of humanity gathered together until we tip into 4D matrix system. And then we will start experiencing the lower matrix of 4D and then upper until we shift into the 5th dimensional matrix system. So when we consider this inner ring here, let's say a couple of 100 years ago. Couple of 100 years ago, the matrix system present, I will take my own culture as a background because this is what I know the most, but it was present in all cultures all across the globe. It's that, for example, in my culture coming from Belgium, in ancient Europe, it's like the matrix systems says, okay, so like a family is made out of a man and a woman and children. We are Catholic, we go to church every Sunday, and parents, like the man works all of his life for this, and then the woman raises the children. You can see like how this matrix system is more dense, right? There is a lot less freedom there, a lot less abundance of choices. Okay, it's like this matrix systems was very, very much like that. And everybody through this structure had their own interpretation. So no, look at me here on the screen, and if you're listening to this podcast, I have my hands, and my hands show something narrow. So the range of interpretation of this matrix was quite narrowed. Okay, so it's also like, yes, basically like this is what's right, this is what's wrong, and if there is someone that falls out of this matrix system, it's like, oh, they are the devil, they are like crazy, they need to be locked up, and so on. So like it was quite a narrow interpretation, right? And then as evolution is always there's always, like, we never stop evolving, evolution continues unfolding, and then all of a sudden we start seeing that divorce is becoming more and more common. So here my hands are going apart a little bit more. It means simply that the range of interpretation of the matrix offered is getting broader. All of a sudden, a family can be from parents that are divorced. And then here you can see that because of this shift in the matrix offered, or the interpretation of the matrix offered, there are already many dissension in terms of belief system. Some believe that it's tragic, that it's horrible, that people should never get divorced. And other people, they really don't see where the problem is. It's simply belief that come in contact with the matrix. To start with, it's simply shifting, because the matrix is observing that humans want to evolve and experiment different things. They want to be happy in their love, in their marriage. They don't want to feel miserable, so they divorce. And basically, it's kind of like the matrix is opening up the possibilities of experiencing more freedoms and abundance with the self, because it is basically the heart desires that are coming from more and more people. Now, because of that, there is a broader range of belief system that is being born. Okay? This belief system has simply projection from what is inside. Our belief system, I talk all the time about that. Please watch my free transmission of 3 days called Avatar Reprogramming, and it's on my website sandrines.com, and there you will have all the keys to be able to have belief generator, fear portal, and neo-human anchors to be able to shift all of this yourself. Okay, so basically it's just belief system that bounce back against the matrix, that give the matrix a certain meaning, like this is bad to be divorced, this is excellent to be able to actually have the courage to divorce and to feel free and to go for like a high quality relationship. This simply belief system. And then matrix shifts again in terms of possible architecture of life. Always architecture of life shift. And now a family, as I'm speaking for today, a white woman residing in New Zealand with 2 children, I observe that the reality that we live in is that now you can have all sorts of families. It's very mixed, interracial, like different religions. You have a man and a woman, you have 2 women, you have 2 men, you have fluidity, you have kids that are from different marriage, like all of these new families coming together. And basically, it is much broader. So you see where I'm going here, right? So it's kind of like, it is not something that we can fight, that we can dissolve. It is simply like it is happening out there. Like it is happening out there, and it's happening also in my reality as I'm myself a divorced woman. It's kind of like we have this architecture is there. The architecture of family has tremendously changed. Is this good or is this bad? It is neither. It is simply a certain algorithm, the matrix, because the matrix has all algorithm present: algorithm of family, algorithm of religion, algorithm of studies, algorithm of health, algorithm of freedom. Everything is there. Okay, so basically the interpretation is now much broader. What is a family? We can discuss for ages what is a family, but we can discuss, but we don't need to have a belief about what is right and what is wrong as a family, because that is only my own projection of my belief system. Like I'm going to believe one thing, my neighbor is going to believe another thing, my daughter actually believes different things, my ex-husband believes different things, and who's right, who's wrong? No one. It is simply a broader interpretation. So what is happening is that we go from the earth and this very narrow circle around to a broader circle. So instead of having a couple of different interpretations available, all of a sudden we have many more ways of being able to see what the matrix is offering, the unfolding of new templates of reality. And it happens in all areas of life. So here is the thing. People want it. People want more freedom. People want to reconnect with their divine self. If you listen to this, okay, like chances are that you want actually genuinely, I know that you want to have peace in your life and that you wish for others to have also peace. You wish people to be more abundant, more free. Okay, but yet, do you actually truly rise up to the possibility that their own interpretation of these codes are completely different from yours? Are you conscious enough and empowered enough to allow them to express in a very unique way what that means for them? Because after all, when you start reacting to the offering of the matrix and you project your belief system upon it, so do they. And we have this myriad of interpretation coming up now. We want more freedom. So the matrix is giving us more freedom. It is giving us more freedom because there are more choices available. We have more information available. We have better technology available. We have everything. We are more abundant than ever. Yet, when this is given, when basically the matrix shifts into upgrading its frequency to higher level of frequency to answer to the shift in frequency that resides within the fractal superconscious unity that we are as humanity, when the matrix basically reflects that, what is happening? People are freaking lost. Why? It's because the anchors that they had to their reality is being removed, and we are naturally, organically unplugging from that simply because of the shift of frequency in the matrix. And then we start seeing all of a sudden with the COVID situation, so many people before we were already given many opportunities to be able to find more freedom, more love, more abundance, more connection, more possibilities for ourselves to be happy. Did we take them? Or do we just get by because this is how it is? We need to work 9 to 5. We need to pay the bills. We need to buy the house. We need to have the kids. We need to do that. We were so plugged into that matrix system, battling it for many of us, that now that the matrix is shifting, now that all of a sudden with the COVID situation, many people lose their jobs. Like there is precarity, mental health, like there's lots of problems. Like abundance is triggered. Like we don't have our routines anymore. We don't know if our kids can go to school. What about education? And what about this? What about this? What about this? Who can we trust? Basically, we have been unplugged from the outdated matrix. But here we are running in circle. And because we don't realize that we are being given the opportunity to change our belief system, to tap into our inner power of God and goddesses, creator, creatress, divine essence of observing, that we have all of this amazing opportunity to rewire our life to what it is that we truly want to create. Because we don't know how to do that, we are bombarding the matrix systems and the COVID-19 situation with all our lower belief systems. And it creates so much separation at the moment in humanity between the ones who believe in the conspiracy theories that the government is planning it, that it is like trying to distract our attention from this. And the other ones that say, no, let's stick together. It's really happening. We must have the vaccine. Like, come on, guys, wake up. And then like, no, I'm more woke. I'm more spiritual than you because you cannot see the truth. And the other ones are like, come on, you crazy. For goodness sake, you don't care about people. And it's like, boom, 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 boom. Actually, what are these? Excuse my language, which is it's only narratives. It is only belief system. None of that is the matrix. The matrix has simply offered a pandemic which has created a huge shift of bringing the matrix into actually higher frequencies, where we can start perceiving the distortion that we were in before. But instead of doing that, what do people do? They attack each other. And what is happening is that because they are being offered the possibility to basically plug themselves into higher level of frequency of unity consciousness, because people don't know how to do that, they anchor themselves back into outdated matrix paradigm reality based on separation of I am right, you are wrong. You will see, I can tell you, I know better than you. And all of that is actually lower fractal reflection of the self triggered by this feeling of being lost. So this is why I'm sharing this transmission with you now, because I hope that this transmission is going to help you not to go back into outdated paradigm reality that you wanted to shift away from to start with, which is exactly that: separation, judgment, aggression, violence. I am right, you are wrong. Come on. No. We don't need to go there. When we start feeling more and more the unified field of consciousness, when we start receiving this information, and we know because it resonates, because like, fuck yeah, like this message makes so much sense, even if I don't understand fully, I can feel I'm aligning with this. Fuck yes, stay there with me. Then plugging into your soul. The soul that you are knows exactly what's happening. Your soul is wired to the higher frequency already. Your soul is taking you there. How can you drop away from your outdated paradigm reality to simply trust and surrender and continue walking forward into the direction of your dreams? Cultivate your dreams. Cultivate as so many seeds of desire planted in your heart to allow you to experiment more abundance, more trust, more connection and love. Allow yourself not to believe in any of these narratives. Allow yourself to choose the third option of observing. I am the observer of the matrix system. I choose to dance with it. I'm so grateful for it. With all of this lockdown, I have all of this time to review my life, to review myself, to review my belief system, to review what I eat, how I exercise, how I connect with others. How can I be free right now? How can I be so free right now? How can I feel so connected to myself right now when actually I cannot be with my beloved or my children because they are overseas? How can I be so connected to myself? How can I show them that I love them no matter what? Feel the emotions arising in you when you rewire all of this inward. So you shift your microcosm. You shift your microcosm as you realize that the macrocosm offered to you by the shift in the matrix and the COVID situation is only a reflection. happening from your level of consciousness shifting. So stay there, anchor yourself into the heart desires of the highest level of frequency. Visualize the earth free. Visualize boundaries removed, all humans happily forever after. Visualize what you need to visualize so you stay anchored into higher frequency. When you come into situations, when there are arguments, when people debate, how can you remove yourself from this situation? How can you be so powerfully sovereign that you say, actually, I don't have an opinion on this because this is simply a matrix, for goodness sake. This is neutral. Something neutral is neutral. We only bring our own frequency of interpretation, and therefore the macrocosm is going to reflect what we are alchemizing into our microcosm. Do you see the matrix system as trying to prevent you from being free? Do you see the matrix system or COVID-19 trying to destroy the whole of humanity? Do you see it as depriving you from your abundance, from your love, from your connection? See all of that and say, thank you, I'm seeing all of it. What is happening inside? What is happening inside? Why am I so dissociated with my own level of abundance, with my own level of freedom, with my own level of love and connection? How can I feel this no matter what? How can I be this no matter what? Because ultimately, this is always the case. When you are free, when you are abundant in your heart, when you love yourself unconditionally, you are so connected to your soul, nothing and no one can remove this from you. And you know this. You know this. So why do you allow yourself to believe in narratives that take you outside of this vortex of pure sovereign connection? Why do you allow that? Can you shift away from this? Can you remove interpretation of the COVID situation, of who's right, who's wrong, who detains the truth, to place yourself into the third option that we are offering you here now, which is neutrality, observation, creator, divine creator, creatress powers. You know, if that resonates with you, that this is where you are heading towards. So you are here to alchemize everything in your path as the relentless warrior of light that you are, so you can hold this template of light. Light leaders, we were born here now for a reason. We came here for a reason. This is not to fall like so many castles and cards and whatever the expression means. Like so many light leaders are now crumbling down into outdated paradigms of reality, of distortion and separation. Say no to this. I was not born to that. I did not come to earth to that. I came to earth to bring unity consciousness. So this is what I'm going to do now. By every time I catch myself trying to believe, to have a belief system, trying to project something on the matrix, trying to trap me, trying to make me small, I realize, why do you think the matrix is trying to make me small? Where do I play small in my life? And how can I actually feel sovereign? It is not by attacking others. It is not by being aggressive. It is not by saying, I know better. I do not know better. I only have one freaking interpretation of my reality, which is my own. So I am going to anchor myself in my vortex. I'm going to do the work every single day, because eventually this is why the perfect architecture of the universe is coming into play. The perfect architecture of the universe is the matrix system coming into place and saying, how you're gonna dance with me, creator, creatress? How are we gonna play together to manifest your dreams, to create the new earth? You came here for that. Are you ready to awake to that potential, or are you going to fall like thousands and thousands of other humans trapped into their lost feelings, therefore hooking into separation, distorted paradigms of reality, dropping frequency, trying to think, wake up humans, wake up. My friends, we are now in the great transition. You know this, I know this, we all know this. The great transition happens as we step up outside of outdated paradigms reality. All through human history that is written in books right now, it is always the same thing. I throw one rock, you throw the other rock. I throw one rock, you throw the other. This has to stop. This is stopping now. I'm choosing to stop this now. Therefore, I don't choose any beliefs. I don't choose any opinion. I will not debate. I will not debate about this. You want to believe this? Good for you. Observe what it creates in your frequency. You want to believe that? Good for you. Observe what it does to your frequency. Observe where you reside. When you reside at the highest with your belief system, you know that you have stabilized into a field of consciousness now, until that belief system is going to be challenged by new matrix shift, representing the shift that are happening inside of you that you might not be aware of yet. Reaching neo-human stage is this, my friend, is this level of super conscious awareness with every single breath that we take. So we observe that the field is continually responding as there is this quantum infinite interaction of the microcosm and the macrocosm. What I create in my microcosm is what is reflected in my macrocosm. What I observe in my macrocosm is the data that I play with, that therefore are going to magnify what I have in my microcosm. I change my reality by changing the way I am, what I think, what I say, and what I do. I practice quantum coherence all the time. So therefore, I uplift myself and I uplift my reality when with every breath that I take, I can see the matrix shifting around me as I hold the highest level of conscious frequencies residing in love, in connection, in abundance, and in trust. I can see the matrix responding by the field coming into this beautiful dance with the creatress that I am, with the divine goddess that I am. And therefore, I rejoice in ecstatic, orgasmic, conscious understanding that I am consciously creating with the matrix, that the matrix is the best architecture that was given to me in this life. That now, because I am dancing so consciously with it, chances are that I'm actually reaching the fourth and fifth dimensional layers of matrix, continuously oscillating with my higher power as a goddess creatress of my life reality. My friend, the matrix is there to serve us, to help us. It is a gift. Try to stop fighting with it. Please do not exert that, because it is an energetic leak. What we fight in aggression with is an energetic leak. Do not fight with other narrative, with other belief system. Let them be, for goodness sake. Let them be. Only care about you. Only care about you and the actions that you take in the world. May every word that you say be of the highest level of frequency and acceptance of all realities. I accept your reality. You don't even know how much I accept your reality. I accept your reality and I accept all of realities. This is not to say that I like it. Some realities out there are freaking gross and disgusting. What's happening in Afghanistan is disgusting. What's happening to the forest and the seas and the animals, it's fucking disgusting. Okay? We don't need to like it, but we don't need to enter in a fight that is non-existent, because as I cultivate continuously my goddess creatress power, I know that I'm holding so much high frequencies in my field that each and every single being that listens to one of my transmission is shifted automatically into the highest level of their own frequencies. And therefore, because they are shifted into the highest level of their own frequencies, they are going to shift the other people that they are going to meet. And therefore, I create a ripple effect. This is how I know that I change the world. This is how I know that you change the world, so we can together uplift the matrix systems. And therefore, indeed, we are here witnessing with super conscious awareness as we transform into the neo-humans, literally becoming architects of the new earth, connecting with one another with so much love and acceptance that we allow everything to exist as we co-create together a reality where indeed everybody has food on the table. And not only that, but everybody is being given the possibility to follow their own heart desires. I believe in that because I can see it. I have the consciousness that is open enough to see this timeline present. This timeline is coming. It is constantly here, constantly flaunting with your own awareness, constantly asking you, are you ready to shift? So please be ready if you feel this calling, if you know that you are here for that. Be ready by aligning continuously, by choosing the third option of the narrative, which is to have none. When we start understanding that more and more people like me, Sandrine, channeling this transmission, I see that I choose to, with courage, not have an opinion and a belief system about the COVID situation and the matrix system. I reside in a very small percentage of the population. And when I'm here, you know that I'm also here. So come and join me. You won't be alone, because I know that we need connection in our life. It is one of our primal codes after all. So many of us fall into the paradigms of distortion and separation because we need to belong to a certain group to be able to feel safe, to be able to know that we connect. I offer the third option, my friend. So may you come and join me if this resonates with you into the point of super conscious awareness, of unity consciousness at play. And I don't have all of the answers, that is for sure. I'm awakening, like all of us, to this greater architecture, that's for sure. But I'm relentlessly, continuously, with so much love and divine gratitude for this life that I have, continue to do the work, to channel and to activate all of these templates and share them with you, that I will hold always the beacon of light. Always. I will always hold the beacon of light, of super conscious awareness of what it is to be a light leader doing the work relentlessly, even though if it makes it unpopular, because I choose not to have an opinion. And how is this even possible? I love you dearly. I thank you for watching this transmission. Please share this message. If it gives you the goosebumps, if it challenges you, share this with others. And yes, enter in debate if it allows you to shift your consciousness. Join me into the third option of neutrality. I love you. Please, I would love for you to comment, to share this video, to like this video, to like this podcast, and follow me for more uplifting content. I thank you very, very much for watching. And I have so many free offerings on my website. Like, just go and there's like, just you can just binge watch. I have so many high frequency transmission. Also, I now facilitate monthly trance channeling session. It was initiated during the Lionsgate, and now I was asked, and I'm so happy to answer this calling with a fuck yes. Every new moon, I will do a trance channeling session. Next new moon happening in September. The transmission will happen on the 8th of September in New Zealand, and this transmission will be working very, very closely with the Andromedans to literally switch the internal architecture of the poles. We have been receiving information that there will be an inversion of the poles. This is happening at the moment. This is shifting from the pole of the mind to the pole of the heart. I will go in a deep, profound trance channeling session, co-creating with Andromedans and Arcturians for this transmission, as well as other star friends holding the field for us, dragons, white lions, mermaids, and so on, the whole team, and to allow you to receive high frequency shifts. So if you are interested, stay present. I haven't launched that event yet, but it will come very, very soon. And you can become part of this community of people gathering every new moon from now on to hold the light of the highest frequency, to be these beacons of light, because these trance channel transmissions are so potent that it literally triggers huge frequency shift in yourself, so you can hold more crystalline frequency and hold these templates of neutrality and unity consciousness into your heart. I thank you very much for listening. I love you so dearly, so dearly, and I thank you for being here. Until next time, be good always. Bye.
If you enjoyed this, you will love Fractal Alchemy 5D Quantum University. Please visit my website sandrains.com for more information.